And we are live. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So what we're doing today is we are meeting up with Liz, and
Hi.
there she is. Liz is here from Normandy, France. She is from Normandy. That's where she has her facilities, but she is teaching a 4-day clinic in Lyon. Welcome, Liz. Good to see you.
Hi. Thank you. Well, I'm in a field at the moment. I'm just going to try to kind of show you where I'm at. So sometimes we do work outside.
Yes.
So we actually got a young horse here and we're working with her. Her name is Eclipse. And we're going to introduce her to jumping today, which we won't be showing you all of that because it would be way too long. But I also wanted to show you a couple of the other horses. So one of them, you see a big dark bay right in the middle there. Can you see him? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, his name is Pluriel, and he's one of our miracle horses because he was written off by the vets who told the young woman who is now working Eclipse, who is right here. Okay, so she was told, put him down, he'll never do anything, he will never jump again, he will never do this, never do that. He had a very interesting background. So he was a show jumper from the age of 3 to about 5 or 6. They broke him, so he was not able to continue doing his job. He was then bought by a woman who thought, well, maybe I can do something with him, but she grew more and more afraid of him because he was really not happy. So she then put him in a stable where he stayed for 2 years without ever going out.
Oh
And
my.
then grew tired of him, and she decided that she was going to put him in a field, and he then stayed alone in a field for 3 years with no one taking care of him. He had a stream to drink from and grass when there was grass. So that's how he lived. And then my young student here, Camille, found him, and he was in a state that was unbelievable. He could, when I say he couldn't walk, I mean he couldn't walk. His limbs were so tight. He was, you know, the first time I saw him, I thought, oh my God, you know, what are we going to do with him? Anyway, it took 2 years, but within 2 years, he was not only walking, trotting, and cantering again, which was, you know, we had been told was going to be completely impossible, but he did some show. He was back to show jumping a little bit. I'm not saying that he was doing anything high level, but he was jumping again, and he even did a little bit of eventing. So he is now in semi-retirement. He absolutely loves going out on hacks and having a good time. And really, Camille's idea was to learn with him, and she's learned a huge amount. And then really give him the best retirement possible. So he is now with girlfriends, 3 of them, and he's spending his retirement years in a field, really happily being cared for. They go in at night, they get absolutely pampered, they're out during the day, and he's having a great time. So this is, you know, as I said, you know, clinics are not, especially in France, not always, you know, in a fancy schmancy place. We are traveling around, so we're going to Ardèche as well later on in the week. And then this morning we were at a relatively fancy place with another horse that we will probably see later on this week. So that is what we're up to today.
Wow. Wow. That is so nice. What a good story. Ah,
Yeah.
that is just heartwarming. And to know that you can bring a horse back from the brink of having to put down.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That
I mean, he
is,
was on his way to the abattoir. The guy wanted his field back and said, look, you either take him now or I take him to the abattoir. So
and
that was
abattoir in America, we call it the slaughterhouse, which
slaughterhouse.
sounds a lot worse than abattoir.
Yes. Yes.
Brings tears to my eyes. What a,
Yeah. So we're just going to watch a little tiny bit. Here's, okay. So what this young horse is being taught right now is alignment. So we are teaching her on circles and straight lines, how to align the 3 points of alignment. So her pole, her withers, and her tuber sacrali, or her hunter's bump. And we're teaching her how to maintain a straight line. So the same sort of thing, those 3 points need to be aligned. And we're going to introduce her today to jumping. So when we introduce a young horse, or when I introduce a young horse to jumping, it's all to do with decomposing the movement. So they learn how to first pick up the forehand from which they jump. Then they learn how to really bend and flex the joints of their hind limbs, and then how to bascule up and over. And we teach them to jump from the walk. So they go up to about a meter 10 before we start introducing the jumping at the trot. So they really can get loads of power up and over, you know, in a very quiet, very easy way. So, and we do it all with body language, so that as they come up to the fence, sometimes we ask them to just walk over it when it's small. Yeah. And then sometimes we add a little movement that they've been taught whilst they're doing the work that she's currently doing right now. Okay, there we go. And we add a little movement, and that movement has a meaning. So the aid is, can you please jump over it instead of walking over it? So the horses learn how to actually jump rather than doing what I call the Superman launch over obstacles, where they sort of launch themselves and jump very flat or very horizontal instead of getting any verticality to the jump. Anyway, so this is what we're introducing to Eclipse today, which means eclipse. How do you say that in English? You know, when the sun comes over.
An eclipse.
Same,
Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah.
The same. Just in French, it sounds so much nicer, right? Eclipse. Eclipse. Wonderful. So how many horses will you be working with today? Just Eclipse?
Today I have 7 horses. We've already done a couple this morning. The weekend is loaded. We've got 24 horses and 24 different horses and riders, all riding individually. So I'm going to be a very busy person, and then lots of people coming to watch. So It's going to be an interesting. We've got everything from heavy breeds to thoroughbreds to warm bloods to, you know, and all different sports represented as well. So it would be very exciting.
Very exciting. I wish I could be there with you in Lyon.
No, me too. Soon.
For a clinic and to film it all with you, that would be fantastic. Wow. And to learn to learn so much from you. I cannot wait for you to get your hands on my horse.
Excellent. Me too. I look forward to that day. And Kentucky is one of my favorite places since I lived there for a few years. So it'd be nice to go back and revisit.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm going to have to cut this short because my student is waiting, and we've got a very tight schedule. But I did want to, you know, have a quick hello, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow.
That would be great. Let me know. And let me know where you are and if you have any reception, and we'll do that again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Liz.
Okay.
Great rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.